Welcome, my name's Nikki Jones, and today I want to do a video about how there's beginning to be a divide between people being spiritually woken and people not. So if you're in a relationship and maybe you've woken up or your partner hasn't, this is the big awakening 2021 that I said about this in one of my other videos, the Great Awakening. I'll leave the link. I'll leave you the link for that. Woken up and your partner hasn't woken up. I'm on the dating scene and I'm struggling to find somebody that's on my level, because I can't be with somebody that's on a completely different level to me. It won't work. It doesn't work when we grow apart. You know, like you say, couples. What if your partner wants the vaccination? What happens when your partner wants the vaccination? You don't want it. What do? Do you go against that person? Or do you learn from that and say, right, okay, well, that's your choice and this is my choice? And as a single person, I struggle with this every day, because I can't meet somebody that's on a completely different level to me. But if I was in a relationship and I'd woken up and that my partner hadn't woken up and they were sleeping spiritually and they wasn't aware of the stuff that I was aware, I couldn't ram that down their throat. There's a big difference between being spiritually woke and wanting other people to know everything that you know. Waking up to yourself. When we have awakening, we wake up to parts of us that maybe that we hadn't really looked. Maybe something's patterning. Maybe we're having things happen repeatedly. Part of my spiritual awakening has been double numbers. I have double numbers. I have codes constantly. You will soon see your code. My code is usually 000-222-333. No, I don't very often get threes, actually, not very much anymore. Double ones, double twos, 2010. Them sort of numbers for me. That's what. And nobody else knows what the hell you're going on about. You can feel very, very isolated and very alone. It can be it really can be quite daunting. Basically, we'll see things with different eyes. Our eyes just are open and our senses have changed and our beliefs have changed. And we start to see things in a completely different light. They're not quite as black and white as they always were in your mind. Now you're challenging yourself and you're challenging your partner, and when you're pushing people to wake up spiritually, they're only going to wake up to what's happening right now in the world. They're not going to wake up to themselves. They're not going to wake up to all of those parts, you know. Since I've become very into my natural creams and my natural ideas, if you like, my crafts, and since I've been making my own creams, I feel that I've started to take a lot more love. I've started to love myself a lot more, and I don't mean that in a egotistic way. I mean that as in, you know, I'm taking more care of myself. I'm bathing I'm making Pacific baths for myself. I'm creaming my body. I'm doing a lot more things that maybe I didn't before. When you wake up spiritually and your partner's sleeping and you have no one to talk to, you think you're going mad. You're seeing all these things that you never saw before. You're feeling things that you never felt before. And you're trying to tell your partner, come on, can't you see it? Can't you see it? And you're pushing it and you're pushing it and pushing it. But no, everybody wakes up in this lifetime We're not here to wake up. It's your time, whether it's your time or not. So the big shift, the big awakening isn't always, it's not always a good thing, trust me. Because I think people are being pushed to wake up. So then they begin to feel full of fear. Those people that are following stuff constantly and they're bombarding their brain with it, they're just taking it and they're putting it all inside, and it doesn't do you any good. The more you absorb, the more it will make you full of fear. And understand that the internet is one big corner of this little bit is one little corner of the internet. You know, there's massive, the internet's massive. Imagine if it broke down just for one day. Imagine. The world wouldn't work. Well, the world now wouldn't work, would it? But one day, surely there will be a crash with this internet, surely, don't you think? But waking up spiritually should be a blissful thing. It should be refreshing. It should feel good. It shouldn't feel bad, and it shouldn't feel where you're bogged under. If you've woken up and you're separate from your partner's woken up but they're not awake like you, or they're not awake and you're the one that's going, what the hell? And no one else sees it. And it can be very frustrating and very lonely. So if you've woken up spiritually and your partner won't budge and they're not having any of it, don't push it. I know it's frustrating, but that's what relationships are. It's all about communication and being like working as a team. Friendship, loyalty, honesty, love, all of it. So if you've woken up spiritually and your partner's still sleeping and you're wondering whether your relationship's going to hold out, that's up to you. I can't answer that for you. But I do know that the divide is happening. People are waking up and their partners are not. Or you're in the dating scene and you've met somebody but they're asleep and you're not. It won't work, will it? It just won't work. So if I say I met somebody and my partner that I've just met has had a vaccine and I haven't, the divide is there. It's not going to work. Not only that, if they've got this vaccination in their system and they're having sex with you, they're passing that on to you. I'm hearing more and more people being ill. And for me, I won't have the vaccination. I would rather wait a good couple of years and see how you lot are going to be first. I don't want to get in no argument about it. I don't want to get in no uproar about it. We all have our own choices in this life. And that's what my point is with this video. Allow yourself to have your own opinion and allow somebody else to have theirs. But don't ram it down their throat. And if you've woken up and your partner hasn't, give them time. This shift will happen. The shift is happening. The big awakening. But if you feel alone and you feel like you can't talk to your partner now because they're just completely on another level, like to you, it's easy now. There's plenty of stuff out there for you to research. When I started waking up in I woke up as a very young girl, but when in 2017 I had a massive shift, and I spoke about this in one of my other videos where I had come from living in a women's refuge from having abusive relationships, and I needed time to sort myself out. So I took myself into a refuge and I worked on myself. While all the other girls sat and chatted and watched TV at night, I worked on myself. And then I had a shift in consciousness. And it was like I woke up the next day and boom, all of a sudden, I felt so different. I went for a walk and I remember I could still see the woman. I could hear everybody's conversation they were having with themselves. I could read everybody. And I can still do it now. I'm gifted that I can read people. And I don't mean that I just read their body language. I just read them. I can see that the dating site is full of people that are out for themselves. Apparently, it's full of escorts. Apparently, the world is changing, and we either need to change with it, or we step back from it. But I think if you're waking up spiritually, and you want to tell the world what your views are and what your feelings are around it, then be true to yourself and do that. Don't hold back. But just know that if you're single and you're looking for a relationship, there's a good chance you can't be with somebody if you're awake and they're not. If you have a choice, I think that's the way to be. I don't think it's a good place for us to say, right, we need to just tell everybody and ram it down everybody's head, down everybody's neck. I know I did. In one of my other videos, I spoke about why I stopped looking at conspiracy, because it filled me with fear. It made me feel very, very, very alone. And there wasn't many people awake when I was awake. And when I researched and I Googled stuff, there wasn't much about then. The shift is happening now. It's whether or not we can be together on this or whether we divide. And that's what I'm seeing a lot, the divide. You know, even going in a shop, just because I haven't had a vaccine, because I don't wear a mask, because I don't agree with it. And I haven't caught it yet. And I know people have died and all of that, but don't believe the figures. I mean, it's been proved, isn't it? It's been proved the figures are wrong. Anyway, I'm not going to go into that, but I just want you to be awake to yourself. You know, what does your higher self want? What does your higher self want to say? And that on its own is amazing, isn't it? If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do, for some more good upcoming videos like this and more, many different videos. I have over 125 videos. I'm sure there's something that you will find that you will like. I have many different playlists, so you can just go through and have a look, see which one it is that you want to watch. I would really appreciate if you gave me a like, if you shared out my stuff, if you feel somebody needs to hear what I'm saying. And I'd appreciate if you would accept yourself. No. Remember to accept yourself. Love yourself. Honour yourself. And be who you came here to be. Honour that. Honour that. Thanks for listening. I hope this makes some sense to you. I'd like to hear your comments. Love, light and peace to you.